Welcome back to another game of AOC, and as soon as I watched the recording of this game, I had to show it, just because I found it so interesting. This game was played today, which will probably be tomorrow by the time this video goes up. So let's go through who we have. It is a Hun war, yes, it is Huns v Huns, but in the blue we have Twig Applefan, and over in the purple, pink, whatever colour you want to call it, we have RVK Stark. So we'll speed things up to get through. Let's just have a quick look at the surroundings of all players just to pass some time. In the back we have the berries for Stark. Not bad location, honestly. This one here should be pretty good. Unless he's got heaps of villages on them, he should be pretty much fine with where it is. Stone over here as well, so it means we could see an early castle, but naturally, playing as Huns, it's definitely not on the agenda. Wood over here, probably not the best wood sources in the world. This one here is a pretty big location, honestly. Like, it's not bad, it's not like there's only a little clump of trees, but it's still towards the front. Archers can still get in the back here and harass, so he's going to have to be really careful of that. Gold over to the back here on the hill. This is a shit location. It is in the back, yes, that's okay. However, 4 of them are missing a side. I believe that's 4, yes, 4. I'm not, unless my eyes deceive me, of course. 4 across there, which means there's going to be villagers that aren't going to be able to get on that. And of course, again, it's on this hilly area, and again, if Applefan manages to get some archers up on top of there, Stark's going to be in a lot of trouble. And he's also got this gold here, this stone fort here. This gold over here, in my opinion, better than this one here, just because of the fact it's not on the hill so much, and it's not in such... It's just a horrible location, honestly. Just looking at it makes me cringe. I really do feel sorry for Stark getting this location. However, stone to the front again, and it's a really big area. So nothing really too special about it. What do we have for Applefan? Applefan in the crater, which we get with Arabia every now and then. In fact, most Arabia maps actually end up in a crater or with some kind of hilly area. I guess you could define that as kind of a crater if you really wanted to. But let's have a look at the location here. Backwood, lot of it. That's pretty good for Applefan. We have the berries towards the front on the hill. Not too bad, however, a nice successful drush could come in here, harass these villagers here, and use the hill advantage to just do as much damage as possible. Over here as well, gold to the left of his town centre, and of course it's on the hill a little bit again, however it's not as shocking as this one over here, so nothing to complain about for you. Gold towards the back here again, so not too bad. 2 stones this location here, could just bump up a town centre here and be free to mine from them both, however generally you don't want to walk as much as possible. So that's probably the overall definitions. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Applefan stick to this back before putting up a front lumber camp. We can see already though Stark is going for this back lumber camp as well, the side lumber camp I guess you could call it, because I guess he has the option to wall off this kind of area. You can put up a barracks here, his military buildings here, be happy. You can put off a wall there, but still get harassed from that side, and you can put off on a wall there, so it should be alright. So let's swap over and see what both our players are doing. We're going up with the barracks into the stable for our player Applefan, and going into the stable for Stark as well. Now, the thing that we have seen from Stark, though, he's already got the spearmen out. He was smart about that. He has known that his opponent is going for scouts. So he is going to get that spearman out nice and early just to try and head off his opponent here. And something we don't usually see, we've actually seen a stone wall come up over here for Stark. Something really interesting right now, and let's just jump onto this, see if we're on Stark for some reason. There we go, so I can see the rest of it now. So Stark's starting to wall himself in. And one of the main points I want to make from this is, actually, I'll talk about it in a sec, just because there'll be more, and I don't want to give anything of the game away. I'll say after a bit. So, moving forward with a few spearmen. So, Applefan trying to get on the offensive here as much as possible. That, just a spear as well. It's going to mean the knights are going to have to, not the knights, sorry, the scouts are going to have to single it out. Otherwise, it will be able to do a lot of damage, because as we know, spears pack a real punch against scouts. But that's about it. Anything on, well, anything on an animal, it seems to do great damage against, because, as we know, any animals are allergic to noodles. Except for wolves, of course. Wolves and jaguars can get away with it. So, that's what we know. And Skirmisher Mix coming in for Applefan 2 now. He's gone into the single range play by the looks of it, which is pretty different considering we usually see a double range play from either player. Right now, though, this spear here, keeping all these scouts on relatively low health, and defending these skirmishers off, because without that, they'd be in a lot of trouble. So, if we look at the bases right now, Stark's completely stonewalled himself in. He's got a completely safe location now. This spear, however, is in here with 1 HP, so we can get some scouting information out of that. Moving forward with this lumber camp, of course, really important because, of course, you want to keep your drop-off times as small as possible. And the answer from Applefan is what we're going to have to see to this, because no doubt Stark's going to try and go up. We can see he's got already a high food count there. He is going up with the blacksmith, so it doesn't look like he's going to be getting any ranges out already. We do see Applefan, however, staying on his single range. There we go, so there's a blacksmith. I was nearly going to say he didn't have one. But going to be able to get that harassment. These scouts over here going to be able to come in for some harassment. However, they will be picked off by a villager quite easily. And we do, of course, still have this lone spearman around for Applefan. Still trying to get in, but as we know, and if we swap over quickly, we know that Applefan hasn't seen this area. Applefan doesn't know that his opponent's completely stonewalled himself in. However, now he should be starting to feel pretty safe. So, fast castle for both players. By the looks of it, well, very reasonably fast castle, because we do see that Applefan is doing the correct response. When your opponent walls, what do? You either put on a lot of pressure, or you wall like a champion. So Applefan going for that wall right now. And let's just check a quick look at Stark. Stark's already going up to the castle edge, so that's a relatively fast castle, especially in Arabia when you've had to take the time out to a wall. But I think this is going to be really interesting, and I really want another bunch of opinions on this, because I've actually been watching quite a few of the Hun Rex lately. And it's really interesting me at the moment, especially considering what's happened. So, more stone walls going up for Applefan, losing a bit of time on that. However, hopefully he won't lose as much time as his opponent. We do see another stable going up for Stark right now, which is interesting enough. And it looks like these spears are going to ward off these scouts without too much trouble in this area. And catching up here, villager is going to survive without too much hassle. Only scout there left, 6 HP, so a scout will die to a spear on 6 HP, no real problem. Another stable going up for Stark. We're in a Hun war here, and he's not massing cavalry archers. Something we don't genuinely see, which I think is really interesting. Especially right now, and the gate's actually locked, interestingly enough. So these knights actually can't get out here, and I don't know if he's realised that or not. But still, there we go, we have 3 stables up, all producing knights at this stage, and going for the harassment, getting in. He's got both the armors on them, he's got bloodlines on them, and the response from Applefan was to go with the 3 archery, which is natural in any Hun war, because you want to get out that large cavalry archer count. But when you're outmassed by knights using cavalry archers, there's not a lot you can do. And if that was on purpose, that was freaking genius from Stark there. That was actually one of the smartest things I have seen in a long time. I'm actually going to pause this, and I'm going to put a replay in this. I haven't put in a replay in a long time, but I'm going to pause this, and if any of you didn't see that, that was amazing. And hopefully I'll run the replay while it's happening. But what happened there? Stark came out of his base there with the villager. Used it just to get in range of those spearmen there, to lure those spearmen away from those skirmishers. He then went in with the knights, killed all the skirmishers off, while the spearmen were chasing the villager. Came in with the knights, killed off those spearmen while they were chasing this villager. That was a genius there from Stark. That is a full move. And I don't know whether it was on purpose or not. That is the question, because there was a siege workshop coming up here, and I am not 100% sure right now. If that was on purpose, it was pure genius. If not, he used it to his advantage, so good on him either way. And what are we doing back at base? Nothing really too big. We do have a watchtower up here, however that went up a little bit earlier. Quite a few villages on gold actually. If we look, we've got 246 there, 246, yeah. And over here we've got another 246. So, quite really heavy on the gold count, which is interesting. Other thing as well is we haven't seen a lot of knights yet from Applefan, or a lot of cavalry archers, which is really interesting. We do already see the monastery though from Applefan, because as we do know, knights are quite weak against monks, especially when the monks are walled in. And what do we have over here? Still going on as usual, business as usual. And both players fighting out. So we'll speed it up again and get back into the games that we've got. We've got quite a few gold miners there for Applefan. Does have this gold available over here. Cavalry archers coming out, they do not have those armor upgrades yet, but they do have both range and attack upgrades, which is really important. Knights also lacking those attack upgrades, which again, it makes them a little bit more... they don't do quite so much damage to villagers, which is what they're for, but they are going to be able to soak up the damage. So in my opinion, with knights, the armor upgrade is so much more important at this stage of the game, just because you can run under that town center, get some damage in there. Alright, so Monk is out right now. We are seeing that stone wall there starting to get some damage on it. However, surprised he hasn't moved in with his Monk yet. Might not have the research needed. I can't remember off the top of my head to convert that Mangonel. Looks like he's going for one of the Knights there, and he's trying to use it to kill off the Mangonel. Oh, that was close. Surviving on 5 HP. We do see the defensive Mangonel coming out for Applefan though, which again, it's always a smart move to have, quickly getting up that extra bit of stonewall. However, it is always really dangerous to try and wall with villagers against Mangonels, because Mangonels instant kill villagers pretty much. Now, here's where things start to get interesting. We can see that both players are starting to opt for Mass Knights, which is really interesting, and you'll notice I'm keeping a good idea on st4rk, because I really want to point something out as soon as it happens. But Mangonel's damage for st4rk right now on Applefan, trying to get in there and do some harassment against those walls. And st4rk at the moment just really sitting pretty. Just Applefan trying to get his unit count up, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Knight's going to be able to run in here and get some damage on these Mangonels. Actually missing that one there. That is going to hurt him overall, but he might be able to kill off these two here as well. Looks like that is a big loss for st4rk right now. That is really going to hurt his overall, because as we know, Mangonels are really expensive units to have out of play. And it looks like that outpost over there will go down because it is in range of that Mangonel. And is that villager going to survive? Looks like it's not taking any splash damage there, so it should be alright. We do see a watchtower going up for Applefan though, which is, you know, pretty much natural at this stage. When you're getting attacked like that, it is nice to just get some defense on the area, especially if they're trying to take it out with a Mangonel, because as we do know, Mangonels do, well, they don't have the range to take on a tower. They've only got 7. Towers have 8 plus 2 if you upgrade them, which is a lot. And so let's come back to base here. Have a look. A few villages on stone, not a lot. We do have quite a few on wood still. However, this area is starting to get a bit thin, so it could be worth putting up a wall here soon. What else do we have? We have this outpost over here about to get destroyed by this tower. There we go. Cavalry archers trying to get some damage on st4rk, but again, they can't because he's completely walled in at this stage. And there we go. We see the monastery for st4rk. We see the mass knights for st4rk. We see him healing up the knights that were injured in the fight. Does this remind you of any game that we saw recently between a certain Tim and Viper? Played in the Spanish of Ennial. Now, watching this record, this is just something I really wanted to show here. Watching this record and a few of the other ones that have been out recently in Hun Wars, I think Tim may have set a change in the metagame for Huns. Which is something that hasn't happened for a long time. Because usually it's mass cavalry archer, mass cavalry archer, mass cavalry archer. But I'm seeing a trend of mass knights coupled with monks recently. And actually grouping them like this, having 2 harassment groups, using 1 to harass, a second comes back and heals, and this villager here could be in trouble potentially from these cavalry archers. But anyway, back on what I was saying about this thing that Tim's got going on. I think people might be stealing this from Tim, and we may be looking at the new Hun War. If it happens, I was the first one to call it. Everyone remember that. I was the first one to call mass knights and monks. And if it doesn't happen, of course, don't mention me at all. Yeah, just bury that. But anyway, it's really interesting in my opinion, because I've seen a few of these today, actually. I've downloaded quite a few recs, because actually something else to note as well. I'm going away for a few days, and new subscribers to the channel probably don't know, but I go away pretty much every school holidays to just hang out with friends for a few days. And while I'm away, I usually just set a stream of recorded games that I've done just to upload, so as long as my internet connection doesn't go out, my computer doesn't shut down or something for any random reasons, there should be tons of videos to enjoy, so hope you guys enjoy that. Right now, we do see these knights here coming around, trying to get this hill bonus on units here where they can, getting the full surround on these cavalry archers, which is really important, and the fact is as well, Applefan has forgotten bloodlines. Something that we have seen too many times recently, especially in the Viper vs Tim game. But the fact shall remain, I think st4rk is taking off Tim's just little thing here. We are as well seeing the pretty fast Imperial Age, and that of course will go into the Cavalier Paladin, and then that'll be used to harass in the best way possible. And Applefan as well, just looking at what he's got, he's only got the 1 stable up by the looks of it, so we could probably expect to see Mass Cavalry Archer from him. Of course, unless we see something ridiculous. Looks like both players are actually collecting relics right now. No, not at all. Alright, so let's speed things back up till we get something interesting and juicy again. So, Monastery out, creating those monks, of course, because he is healing up these knights, pretty much giving him a new army every time. And of course, if you're the one who's healing and your opponent isn't, you're definitely going into battle there with definitely better odds. Just because of the fact that it's costing you so much less, and the fact is you're just reusing units. Mangonel over here potentially going to be able to do quite a bit of damage, lining up in straight formation here just for that special Scorpion that hasn't been created yet. Looks like Monk over here is going to get a, well, nearly convert that one of those knights, get taken out by that, and we can see that we do have st4rk picking up those relics nice and quickly, which is really interesting again, because you don't generally see players going for relics on Arabia, yet in the Spanish War, we did see Tim going for them. And it pretty much gave him an unlimited supply of gold. So, a castle coming up towards the frontier. Let's just have a quick look. We should see Cavalier somewhere. Cavalier, there we go. Being done. Most likely going to see that +4 armor upgrade as well onto the hack. Let's have a look actually. Yes, there it is. It is indeed happening right now. What are we looking like right now for Applefan? Applefan nearly Imperial, so he's not doing too bad right now. Let's have a quick sweep of the base again. Going for Mass Knights as well, paired up with Monks. Of course, this is the strategy of the moment. Applefan currently having a good lead by 500 points, and that's mainly due to the economy, I would say. If we look at the populations just quickly, we've got Applefan on 154, we've got st4rk on 116. So there's a big difference there. However, the main thing that st4rk does have going for him is he does have the upgrade advantage at the moment. He has got the Cavalier upgrade, he has got the +4 armor upgrade, and that's going to absolutely just... I cannot explain how much that's going to help him against his other knights. It's going to give him so much of a power boost. This knight over here going to get taken out pretty quickly by this Cavalier as well. Let's see if we've got Paladin on the way yet. Paladin... No Paladin yet, unless he's got another stable up that I can't see, which it doesn't look like. Currently running low on gold on this one here. However, he has managed to collect quite a few relics, so he should be okay at this stage. Plus, he does have a lot of map control right now, so he can expand out to here without too much trouble. And he does have an outpost up, so he knows his opponent's nowhere near it at the moment. Siege Workshop, of course, but once he gets to Imperial, Trebuchets are king, of course. More stables going up for st4rk right now, just trying furiously to catch up, actually. Probably still creating shit tons of villages. Yes, he is. And is that a market? Yes, it is a market, so he's going to be going for more gold there. And let's see what he goes from here. Scores are very close. Currently only 200 points in it. It is anyone's game right now. Cavalier has been upgraded for Applefan, and even upgrades are now for both players. Any Paladin yet? Are we going to see Paladin? And Blast Furnace is being done, so that's going to give st4rk the advantage here. What are we seeing here for Applefan? Are we going to see anything interesting? Paladin is being done for Applefan right now, so st4rk is going to have to be quick now. Very, very quick. Let's see, is he going for it? No, is he going for one of these front ones? Doesn't look like it. We are seeing more stables come up in the back right now. And it looks like this outpost over here is going to go down. We do have that castle up defensively on this gold, which is probably the best pick so far by Applefan. Going to be able to hold that quite well. Looks like if there was a town center or something going to go up over here. However, taken out quite quickly by this Trebuchet. More stables going up for st4rk right now. And if he's not careful, he could be outdone here. Once that Paladin upgrade goes through for Applefan, it's going to be a little bit harder to hold him off. However, we can see st4rk has taken the lead now, which is really important in any game. So let's speed it right back up and see what's going on. It looks like he has discovered this base down over here now, so he is going to be able to come get some harassment on that, and that looks exactly like what these Cavalier are off to do. More and more stables coming up now, more and more wall off coming up now. Of course, keeping this castle as safe as possible, going to be able to do quite a bit of damage with that. And there's a Paladin upgrade right now. All his villagers here nearly getting taken out if he wasn't too careful. Monks over here going to be able to convert quite a few of these Cavalier without too much trouble. And town center. Looks like that is going to go down for Applefan. Trying to get some converts here, getting one. We'll see a second. Two. How many did we get there? Looks like we got 3 conversions there. So those monks pretty much paying for themselves, so it wasn't as bad a trade as it could have been. However, we do see the Paladin army coming out for Applefan, and we now know that, well, st4rk has seen it. So he's going to be forced to retreat out of here because, well, both players do have the exact same upgrades. He's just outnumbered. So at this stage, it's just the outnumbering and the health game, really. And that's where those monks is going to come most important. So killing off these guys here quite quickly. As you can imagine, mass paladins versus mass paladins, full ups. Well, the one with the more mass is going to win. Castle is coming up in this section here because it is going to need it to defend at this stage. We do see more paladins running in it right now for Applefan. Is that his original scout? I have no idea. But anyway, we do see Applefan moving in for the counter-attack right now, trying to take out his opponent's town center. And here come the paladins from st4rk. Looks like he's going to be able to defend this town center without too much trouble. He does have a good advantage here on the hill, actually, and he's going to force Applefan out of there right now. However, we do have another engagement coming for Applefan right now in the main area. This castle should be able to supply quite a bit of covering fire, however it doesn't have the range upgrades on it to be able to do so. And if we look at, you can see right here, Applefan has found a way into st4rk's base. st4rk has not walled off properly at this stage. However, town centers are being garrisoned, and it looks like he's going to get out of here without too much trouble. Looks like the fighting over here, why are these paladins not attacking? They are on stand ground. And that could have been really bad for st4rk right there if he'd left that for too long. Because as we know, attacking ground, well, not attack ground, stand ground paladins, stand ground melee units, they don't do a lot at all. So it looks like Applefan is going to lose this engagement down over here. Currently 500 points up for st4rk, currently 47 minutes into the game. We are seeing mass paladins from both sides, supplied with monks as well. Doesn't look like we're going to see a transition into anything from either players right now. We can see that st4rk is just starting to mass up his army and move forward with these monks to try and get some damage in. We do see these, well, less healthed up monks, well, less healthed up paladins being healed up by these monks. And of course that's pretty important because, well, like I said, it might be a shift in the metagame we're about to see. Which is really important, because this hasn't happened for a long, long time. So, it might be the counter to, well, cavalry archers, guys. This might be how the game is going to be played from now on. And of course, I'm not 100% confident with this, but that's always worth saying it in my opinion, because if it does happen, it'll make me look like a genius. And Applefan moving in with some halberdiers now. Very good, well, plan on that, because of course halberdiers do have a great damage to, well, resource cost output against paladins. And when it comes down to the trade, honestly, I think everyone knows they would rather lose a halberdier than a paladin. So we do see this fight going on over here. Converts coming out from these monks by the looks of it, and I think he nearly didn't get one there, but he is getting the health up on these units. We are seeing max barracks coming out for Applefan, which means as well mass pikemen spam, and of course unless you're Goss you can't keep it up too long. So here we go, going to go in for this attack. It looks like he is defending these trebuchets here, getting a little bit of damage onto this wall over here from st4rk. He's going to be able to push in here quite quickly. There we go, it looks like the wall off will be completed. It should be alright there. And just getting that little bit of wall up there, that's really important right now. More trebuchet fire coming in from st4rk, because of course trebuchets are probably one of the best weapons to use in the game against a wall opponent. Because, you know, 16 range is a lot. And let's see, Huns moving in against these guys, going to be able to take it out. So let's watch this fight here. These halberdiers are going to be able to exchange really cost effectively here. But again, against mass paladins like this, the paladin should win without too much trouble at all. We see this location over here getting attacked quite quickly. This mining camp here going up for st4rk. More and more trebuchets just raining down on this area here. Mangonel is moving out, could potentially be trying to get some hits on these units here. However, these paladins are going to be able to take them out without too much trouble. If we go back to this section of the map over here, we will find that st4rk is completely dominating this section. These barracks will go down pretty quickly now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he moves his trebuchets up to there, actually. And this bit of stone wall here again, looks like it's going to go down again. And we can see that st4rk is doing a great job of keeping Applefan's villages here preoccupied. And lots of units in these barracks by the looks of it. However, currently 186 population for st4rk, 246 for Applefan. Not starting to look so good for him. He was looking pretty good towards the early Imperial, but once just this damage came in, he was just not being able to just counter it. It's been so much damage in so little time right now. Trebuchets are moving out to attack this section of the map over here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a good game from Applefan anytime soon. He is going to lose this section of the map. He's going to lose it to mass paladins. And that means as well, he's got no gold left inside his base. His only real gold left at the moment is none, by the looks of it. No stone as well. It looks like he's starting to run out of wood in the back as well. Yes, he's out of wood there. He's running out of wood here. He's running out of wood here. And because st4rk's got complete map control, this is a good game for Applefan right now. And looks like this will be taken quite quickly right now. Once these barracks are down, not a lot he can do. Especially once this area is taken, because he's going to have no access to wood whatsoever. Of course, he can have this one out here, but again, Paladin's engaging this side. Not a lot that Applefan's going to be able to do at this stage. All of his military is focused over here, and it's not a large amount of military either, so it's really going to be hard for him to play off in this game, to trade well. So, looks like this castle over here isn't going to stop all these villages over here getting killed off quite quickly, and I don't think there's a lot he can do about it. He does have a few pikemen in the area here, but naturally they're not going to be able to do a lot either. Don't think this castle has murder holes on it yet either. It is going to go down in the next few seconds. We'll come back to that. Again, on this side over here, Stark putting on great pressure from both sides here, and again, lots of halberdiers for our friend Applefan. But again, Stark going to be able to outdo that with Mass Paladins. Of course, not trading the most effective in the world, but getting the job done nonetheless. And it looks like that fight there's going to wrap up. This castle's going to go down over here. Looks like we're about to see a good game from Applefan. So I thought that was a really interesting game to note. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think there's going to be a metagame shift towards the Mass Knights Monk strategy against Cavalry Archers? Because this could be the counter everyone's been waiting for, honestly. Especially if you wall in against Cavalry Archers, there's not a lot they can do. So let me know what you think about that. Hopefully you enjoyed the game, and I'll see you guys in the next video.